What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Kairos 101 tutorial. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about how do we utilize all the different decks on the control surface in order to manipulate the profiles that we've designated in the Kairos Creator software. In the previous video, we talked about profiles, and I've created profile number 8, which has 2 decks, which they call modules, and have been delegated across 2 different scenes. Main clean, which is my camera feed, minus any graphics inputs that I might have, and a 4-box, which I'm actually going to fire up now in preview if I can find it. As we can see here, actually on main clean, this is actually a good point to demonstrate. The way in which I add certain items to this, what you can see on the bottom here, which is in the deck, for specifically main, clean, background A, and background B, is within the source options tab on that specific scene. So I have my 4-box, which is another scene, and then I have all my inputs. Down here is a nice little spacer, so I can actually add a physical space between a 4-box and a camera. So in case that kind of happens, I'm gonna go back to camera 1 and leave that in preview. So I have a 4-box up top, and then in program I have, I should have this camera. Hello. So I have a spacer between the 4-box and all the rest of my inputs, and say, hey, well, I have more than 20 sources. How do I get to my second layer? Well, there's like a shift button integrated. So you see how it says first. I can actually manipulate. So since I'm considering this A and B, there's a first layer, and then I can press this button over here and goes to my second layer, and I can go between, actually I can make the B layer only have the first and the A layer have the second, or the opposite. So that's my shift key, and it holds, as we're all kind of familiar with like ATEM sort of stuff. So that's gets to my second or tertiary layer of, or third layer, I should say, of inputs and available sources for that specific scene. Now, above that deck is also labeled main clean. If I had an additional layer, I would be able to, within the scene, I would be able to add change out what this is doing. Unfortunately, since main background A and B are the only layers for this scene, it's only allocated to one section. So, but what I can do is I can take this deck, this section of the deck, and I can choose, there are my different layers, right? So I have background A, background B, aux in delegation. So I can actually choose aux, and then I can pick which aux I want to use for this specific part of the deck. So let's say I want to change what goes in the LED wall. Or actually, I can go anywhere from like any of my my auxes here to some of my NDI outputs, which is really handy. So I'm just going to use the MCR multiview for whatever reason, multiview right. So then I have multiview 1, which is of course what's typically in there. And clean multiview right, so aux, multiview left. So say this top layer here, it's still gonna give me the deck delegation, so I know what the root is. So up top it says main clean MCR MV left, which is an aux, and then main clean MCR multiview right, which is also an aux. In front of me is multiview left and multiview right. I see 2 different multiviews, but I can easily swap through them and go punch up. Hey, I actually want more detail. Instead of seeing the multiview for a hot second, I want to see camera 1, for example, or camera 2, or camera 3. But then I can quickly go back to multiview 1. So right there, I can hot punch up the auxes in an instant. Cool. So that covers deck 1. Now there are many, many more layers on how to use this sort of delegation on these decks, but let's move on to manipulating something like a 4-box and how we can hot punch in and out of different sources using some of the different options we have here. So looking at the top deck up front here, so we have a couple different things going on. We have the background, which I don't actually need to change. So I'm gonna keep that the same. I'm gonna change this out in a hot second, but just to give you a lowdown, I have bottom left BL, bottom right BR, background, which I'm gonna change in a second, top right, and top right below that. So as you might be able to see up in preview, we have a couple different things going on there. We have, bottom left, inputs 11 and 12 aren't active right now, so I'm gonna push, let's say, bottom right, I'm gonna put the window cam in there, and that populates. And then bottom left, I'm gonna put in color A. Top right, I currently have input 10, which is doing some playback for me. And then I can also allocate, say, if I wanna do another color wheel as background, but say I don't see top left, where's that at? So I hold down this far right button. I can see it gives me all the different layers that I have. So I'm just gonna select, I think it's this layer actually, because it has to do with the order in which these were assigned on that scene. So it's BGD by default, but it's actually been named in the scene as top left. It's gonna say BDG, but check this out. It's gonna actually change it out to a different color palette. So I can prove that by going over to 4box and seeing it says background here, which really should be the foreground because that's how it's being used, but don't tell anybody. TL isn't showing up, but that might be a conflict with the way the switcher and the switcher software and the panel interpret things, but definitely goes in order. So this should be read as top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right, etc. And there you go. That's pretty much, and then I can hot punch in and out of all these different things. You know, so I have complete manipulation right on top there without having to go through macros or going into the specific scene and changing things out manually. All those things are accessible here so that if I do need to add new people or new participants, more remote guests or different cameras or different feeds coming out at the same time, those things can be hot punched immediately. So that's a really, really powerful tool, especially when it comes to like adding in transitions and using all the things that you have up here with all those different scenes. So I can also like fade things in and out right from the top. So I have background, top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right, and I can fade those out to black. I don't know why I would want to do this, but you know, it's just a cool, it might be a little bit of a party trick, but it's pretty nifty that you have those sort of transitions built right in on the top section here. Cool, so I hope you enjoyed and found some of that informative on how to utilize decks with the control surface to make your production fantastic. Thank you so much again for watching another Kairos 101 tutorial. Stick around for more episodes coming shortly. See you guys.